Today, we're taking you on an incredible journey back in time, to an era long before humans walked the Earth. Have you ever wondered what our planet looked like millions of years ago? From the rise of the first seed-bearing plants to the dominance of giant reptiles, this period was a time of extraordinary evolution and dramatic changes. But have you ever wondered, why has the Earth changed so much over millions of years? Why did the creatures living back then go extinct? Why was the evolution of our planet so brutal? Welcome to Why, where we ask the questions that only science can answer. Millions of years ago, our planet, Earth, looked very different. All the continents were merged into a single supercontinent, which had life both beautiful and terrifying. When you think of prehistoric times, you might picture a T-Rex tearing through the jungle with its razor-sharp teeth. But even before the age of dinosaurs, there were other giant creatures that dominated this planet. Welcome to the Permian period, an era that began 300 million years ago. Back then, our planet had one supercontinent, Pangaea, surrounded by a world ocean called Panthalassa. This unique configuration of land and sea created a distinct climate and environment that influenced the evolution of life on Earth. The Permian period began at the end of an ice age, a time when temperatures were significantly cooler than they are today. During the early days of the Permian, Earth gradually warmed, transforming into a lush environment brimming with diverse plant life and a rapid evolution of insects and animals. However, as you may know, change is a constant on our blue planet. Over the next 50 million years, Earth continued to grow hotter and drier. This shift in climate led to the adaptation and evolution of many species as they struggled to survive in the changing conditions. Ultimately, the most lethal event in the history of our planet wiped out nearly all life forms. Scientists refer to this event as the Great Dying, the most catastrophic mass extinction Earth has ever experienced. And Earth has endured 5 such events. Each of these extinction events dramatically reshaped the planet's biodiversity, paving the way for new life forms to emerge. But before we get to all this doom and gloom, let me take you on an epic journey back in time. Here in the Permian period, some of the most extraordinary species that ever roamed our young planet were about to make their appearance. These creatures were unlike anything we see today, showcasing the incredible diversity of life that once existed. If you could travel back in time to nearly 300 million years ago, you'd find yourself right in the middle of the supercontinent, Pangaea. At this point, Earth's smaller land masses had just collided to form this colossal continent, which covered about 1/3 of the planet's surface. There was likely less oxygen in the atmosphere than today, but you might still manage to breathe. And don't forget a jacket because it would probably be quite chilly, with temperatures averaging around a brisk 4 degrees Celsius in some regions. This cooler climate was a remnant of the preceding ice age, which had left its mark on the planet's weather patterns. However, things would soon start to warm up. By the end of the early Permian, the ice age was ending, and Pangaea was transforming into a verdant world. Plants and animals began to flourish. The warming climate fostered the growth of vast forests and swamps, creating rich habitats for a variety of life forms. It was a volcanic world where violent eruptions altered the climate, reshaped the landscape, and paved the way for evolution. These volcanic activities also contributed to the changing atmosphere, releasing gases and minerals that influenced the development of early life. As the vast swamp forests began to dry up, plant life had to evolve. Around 290 million years ago, Earth witnessed the emergence of the first seed-bearing plants known as gymnosperms. These plants, with seeds on their cones, rapidly spread across the supercontinent. The ancient evergreen forests of the early Permian concealed some familiar sights. Much like today, cicadas and beetles fed on the plants, and among them, the largest of all, were cockroaches. But these weren't the cockroaches you're familiar with. These prehistoric pests were as large as birds. Despite their size, cockroaches never dominated the prehistoric landscape, which is quite a relief. Instead, a far more intriguing creature roamed Pangaea, the now extinct ancestor of primitive mammals, Dimetrodon. This creature was as fascinating as it was terrifying. Encountering a Dimetrodon would be a memorable experience. This ancient reptile could grow up to 5 meters long and weigh 225 kilograms. It had a prominent sail along its spine, which scientists believe helped regulate its body temperature by absorbing warmth during the day and releasing excess heat during the cooler nights. It would approach you like a crocodile, acting like a true menace. Dimetrodon was the apex predator of its era, equipped with a mix of sharp and flat teeth capable of slicing and grinding its prey. During the Middle Permian period, other mammal-like reptiles, known as therapsids, began to dominate the planet. These creatures had strong jaws with sharp teeth and a semi-upright posture due to their legs being positioned under their bodies. Therapsids ranged from the likely omnivorous Diictodon, which could grow up to 5 meters long, to the much smaller meat-eating Lycaenops. If you stayed around for another 20 million years, you'd encounter many more therapsids. During this time, Earth continued to warm, with the average global temperature on Pangaea reaching about 25 degrees Celsius. Volcanoes were releasing greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, causing sea levels to fluctuate. Despite these changes, marine life adapted and thrived. Marine ecosystems became incredibly diverse, with new species continuously emerging and adapting to the shifting conditions. If you took a swim in the prehistoric superocean, you'd be alongside ancient sharks and primitive bony fish. As the environment continued to evolve, many more complex marine species emerged and disappeared.
In the late Permian period, you might have encountered a friendly reptile known as Lystrosaurus. Resembling a cross between a lizard and a pig, Lystrosaurus was a harmless herbivore. It measured about 1 meter long and had strong front legs designed for burrowing. Soon after, another endearing mammal-like reptile emerged, the Cynodont. Cynodonts looked like giant rodents, about 1 meter long, with whiskers, and they fed on small animals and insects.
During this time, however, something ominous was happening. Significant volcanic activity was reducing the oxygen levels in the atmosphere. Scientists believe there was only about 10% oxygen compared to today's 21%, making it difficult to breathe. Additionally, temperatures were on the rise, averaging around 28 degrees Celsius, turning this lush prehistoric world into an oven. Unfortunately, all good things come to an end, and this period concluded with a particularly harsh event. Approximately 252 million years ago, about 90% of all plant and animal life was wiped out. This catastrophic event, known as the Great Dying, was the most devastating mass extinction Earth has ever experienced. The exact cause is still debated, but most theories point to explosive volcanic activity. Massive eruptions released vast amounts of ash into the atmosphere, blocking most, if not all, incoming sunlight. With no sunlight, global temperatures plummeted. Plants could no longer photosynthesize, and they died off. Without plants, the food chain collapsed, and animals soon followed. Things deteriorated further before improving. The carbon dioxide from volcanic eruptions caused global temperatures to soar once again, even higher than before. This led to the superocean losing most of its oxygen, resulting in the death of a majority of Permian sea creatures. Eventually, over 95% of marine species and more than 70% of land animals went extinct. This mass extinction might make you wish to revive all the animals that have vanished, including dinosaurs. But that's a story for another video on why, where we ask the questions, which only science can answer. Stay tuned for more fascinating insights into the history of our planet and the incredible life it has hosted.